Happy Father's Day. Today reminded me that life isn't all just good or bad. It's usually both, you know. And I think that's something people don't talk about enough. I think generally when we explain how our day's been, we say either good, yes, I've had a good day, or I've had a bad day, you know. But most real days don't fit into that box. They don't fit into just good or just bad. Most real days are mixed. You can have a good morning and still hear something that worries you a bit later in the day. You can spend time with people you love and still carry something heavy on your mind. You can feel genuinely grateful but also unsettled at the same time. You can laugh, get things done, have a great, full, productive day, but still have something heavy sitting on your mind. And that doesn't mean the day was fake. It doesn't mean the good parts didn't count. It just means that life is complicated. Today for me had a lot of goodness in it. It was Father's Day. It's Father's Day. I spent time with family, and there were moments that felt warm. There were signs that things are moving in the right direction. And I had a decent day overall, but there were also some heavier moments. Some conversations reminded me that people are dealing with very real things. Some concerns that reminded me that being a father means that it's never fully just on yourself. Your life is not just about me. I'm a father. I have children. And this is the reality of life, It's not clean. It's not always just one thing. It's not all progress and just fantastic good news. It's not all pain and difficulty either. It's both. And I think becoming more grounded means learning how to hold both without letting either one completely take over. Because if you only focus on the bad, you will miss the good. You miss the warmth, you miss the small wins. You miss the fact there are still things worth being grateful for, But equally, if you only focus on the good, you can become naive. You can ignore the things that actually need attention. You can pretend everything is fine when actually something needs to be dealt with very carefully. So the answer isn't to force positivity, and it isn't to sink into negativity either. The answer is to be honest, to say, today has had some good in it, and yesterday had some weight too. Both can be true. This is part of being human. This sounds simple, but it matters. I think it matters because a lot of people feel they have to choose one emotional story. Either everything is fine, going great, fantastic, hunky-dory, or everything is falling apart. Either they're happy or they're struggling. Either they're grateful or they're worried. Either they're strong or they're affected in some way or another. But real life, it just doesn't work like that. You can be strong and tired. You can be happy and still have something on your mind. You can be proud of progress, but still know that there are things to sort out and the path is still there to be walked. You can have a good day and still feel the weight of responsibility. And I think, this is especially true when you are rebuilding your life. Because rebuilding your life doesn't happen from a perfect emotional state. You don't wait until everything is calm before you start moving forward. You don't wait till every problem is solved before you can appreciate a good day or a good moment. You don't wait till life is simple so you can try and be present. You have to build when things are mixed. You have to show up while things are good. And some things are uncertain. You still have to keep showing up. You have to keep going when life gives you both encouragement and concern in the same day. And that's why I think emotional maturity is not pretending everything is fine. It's also not letting every difficult situation destroy you. It's being able to say, okay, this part was good, this part needs attention, this part I'm grateful for, and this part I need to handle carefully. And I can hold all of that without losing myself. This is what you need to say to yourself. You can hold all of these things without losing yourself, and this is the key. Some things need action, some things need patience, some things just require a calm conversation, some things need time. Some things you need to be present and not panic. If you react to every heavy moment like it cancels the whole day, you'll never feel stable. But equally again, if you ignore every heavy moment because you want to protect the idea of a good day, you won't deal with life properly either. So, yeah, the goal isn't to have a perfect day every day of the week, day in, day out. The goal is to be, or maybe the goal is to become the kind of person who can handle the mixed days, the good and the bad. A day with warmth and worry, a day with progress and concern, a day with family and responsibility, a good day with good moments, but also difficult thoughts, things weighing on you in the background, because that's what most days actually are. You know, when you accept that, you stop needing life to be perfectly clean before you appreciate it. You can enjoy the good without denying the hard. You can deal with the hard without dismissing the good. You know, you can be thankful but serious at the same time. And this is where I'm trying to get to, you know, not pretending life is perfect, not making everything heavier than it needs to be, you know, just being honest about what's there. Today was a good day, but it was also a real day, and real days carry more than one feeling, you know. I should say subscribe. Got cut off there, but I'm going to get straight back into the video. I was just saying, you know, subscribe to the channel. I'm uploading daily at the moment, and I'm uploading videos, mindset, discipline, self-improvement, daily talking videos about all things generally related to rebuilding your life from, you know, the ground up. But again, back to the topic. You know, I was basically just saying today's been a real day. It's been a good day, but it's been a heavy day at the same time. And often days I think are like this. So I would say if you've had a day like this recently or today, where part of it was good, part of it was heavy, and you didn't know what to quite, you know, call it, maybe you don't need to force it into one category. Maybe you can just say it was both, you know, and then ask yourself, what needs your attention? You know, what needs or deserves my gratitude? What can I do calmly? You know, what can I let be for now? Because life isn't just good or bad. Most of the time, it's both. And learning how to carry both without falling apart, you know, might be one of the most important parts about growing up. Yeah.